So Marissa, tell me about email etiquette.
Right. So I think the first thing to remember is that email is not a chat room, especially if you're using your official emails in a work environment. The tone should always be respectful and professional, and you should never be embarrassed if anybody else sees an email you've written.
Does this mean that it has to be Dear Marissa, sincerely Jarita?
I think a lot of people don't consider that important, but I think we can all do with a bit better manners, frankly. So if we are kind towards each other and we show respect, it normally greases the wheels for most interactions.
I think that if you start with Dear Marissa, you're not going to, I think you take the whole thing more seriously than if it's just like, hi. No reading, I think that it would make you think more formally and think that this is could be a future public record.
Oh yes.
So
if you're addressing it to a specific person, making the personal connection is important.
Mm-hmm. And then what were some of the things that came up when you were discussing this? About emails. I know we spent a long time on emails, so
Right.
yeah.
I'd say the most important thing is if you get emails, what sort of emails you think read a lot easier for you. It's normally short emails that are very much to the point and they're timed right. So they're giving you appropriate information at the right time and they make it easy for you to digest. Those are the best emails. And if you want to send out information to people, that's the way to go. And if you want decisions from people, make it easy for them to do so. Make it a yes or no question, so they can easily just say, yes, go ahead, or no, I don't agree.
I think that what was most important that I'm carrying away from sitting in the workshop and listening about email etiquette is to really make use of your subject heading.
Yes. I think, if you can actually achieve 50% of your goal in the subject, that's great, but don't write a paragraph in there. It needs to be a couple of words, telegram style.
And you said in particular, it needs to foreshadow or forewarn or preview what's actually going to be inside the email. So if the title is, we need a decision on, the telescope time today, then they know that there's going to be something about needing a decision
Right.
on the telescope time today. Yeah.
Especially prompting action, as you say. Very good idea. Or if it's really urgent, say it's urgent.
Yeah.
It really helps people if they know that you need a response very quickly. Everyone is getting a whole lot of emails nowadays. So the easier you make it for your colleagues, the easier you make it for yourself to get feedback from them. And then communicating in a clear way so that people don't have to ask you 10 questions about what you meant before they get clarity. If you've communicated clearly, they'll get it the first time. So try to do it right from the start.
I get caught up with that sometimes because of being an American working in South Africa and using the inappropriate terms, things that we think crosses genre. Like, for example, when you were speaking today, you used the term properly. That's not really used in American English. It's
Wow.
very much a British kind of colonial thing. We're always like, what does properly mean?
What do you use instead?
You are more descriptive. So do it in a way in which the information is conveyed.
Oh.
Make it neat and tidy.
Oh, I see.
Right, take your time, whatever it is. It's not, properly doesn't convey anything to us. It just conveys to us that you think there's a right way to do it, which you
Right.
have not conveyed to us.
Exactly. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Who is proper?
Right,
Anyway.
and I think since you guys all went to these proper British-like schools, that properly has a certain connotation
Context.
to it.
Yeah.
Yes, but we don't have it. We're like,
Wow.
there's that word again. Okay.
Right.
We often hear it as my way or the highway.
Oh, right. Well, I think you can always save yourself a lot of time by doing things right the first time. And then asking yourself, what is the perfect way you would like to be communicated to? And try to put yourself in somebody else's shoes. That'll help you to set the tone of the email. If you're not annoyed, you won't write an email that sounds annoyed.
Yeah. Now, at the beginning of this interview that we're having right now, you said, whatever you write, I think you said it, whatever you write, ask yourself, if this goes up the chain of command to your boss and or goes out in the public, accidentally or intentionally, would you be proud of this? Or would you stand behind what is being said there?
Exactly, yeah. You should not ever feel embarrassed about what you say. But if you're acting with integrity and respect, you should never feel embarrassed about what you've said in your emails and what you've put in writing.
One thing that we didn't discuss, which I think is important to mention, and I want you to comment on it, is everyone thinks of email as being instantaneous, but it's not. You can actually not answer an email immediately. You can actually wait. So if you're tired or you need to think about it,
right,
take the time. Whereas, the person who's waiting for an answer may come back to you and say, did you get the email?
Right.
And you can say back to them, I received the email, I need 3 days to think about it, or something like that. You don't have to just, that pressure of on-the-spot decision can lead to you saying or doing something that you may embarrass yourself about later.
Oh, no, totally. No, you're very right. I think that people think you have to immediately act on emails, and that is not true. You have to get yourself into a place where you can appropriately reply. So I think when you have a professional idea about how you would want to conduct yourself, you would also quite easily see that it would not be appropriate to answer emails when you're distracted somewhere or not have the appropriate information on hand to do that, and rather wait to send the correct information even if it's a bit later.
This brings us to cell phones. Can you speak about reading and responding to emails on your cell phone?
Oh, well, it's a personal gripe I have. I don't really like the fact that people have their lives ruled by it nowadays. But if you do choose to respond on an email on a cell phone, one, realize that you're actually making it very difficult for yourself. So ask yourself, can this email not wait? Only answer the ones that are truly extremely urgent and really, really has to be answered on that medium. Otherwise, wait until you can do it in a professional manner.
I tend to agree with her. No, if it's just friends going back and forth, then it doesn't matter. And then also I have the caveat that from certain of my email accounts that I use my phone for, it actually says, this is sent from my cell phone, and therefore it might contain errors. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. So it's kind of a covering all aspects. Insurance
Exactly.
policy.
Yeah. But then it's not necessary to even create that problem if you don't really need to respond.
Yeah, just wait.
And remember